stage for Fremantle. So McFarlane's still not in the team. He's the one they would like to get back.
The biggest killer about this game, boys, is the size of the ground. It's 187, I think, 189 metres long, Russ. That is a long way. I'd hate to be doing 400s there, mate, because you'd be doing a 600.
Is that a concern for your side, lack of leg speed? I mean, you've got great players nearly on every line, great ability, hardness and all that. Do you think you'd be able to counter their leg speed? That would be my only query.
Well, I think we spoke about it in the green room, mate, but not your room, just the actual green room out the back. But look, we've got a couple of quick players in Cupido and Jason Johnson. Yeah, look, I hope we've got enough to counter their blokes. So they've got a couple of quickies, and you know, you got don't make me laugh.
Lunatic.
You know, you got
these caps. We've got a lot to be thankful for these cups. I can tell you, they've come in.
Show it to the camera,
they've come into the side this week.
It's a very frothy, flat white.
Got a lot to answer for. Let's have a look at the Essendon team. And the Bombers have got some big names back, as I mentioned at the top of the show. Fletcher, McCurry, Wellman, as well as McGrath and Walsh as possible inclusions. Harvey and Richards omitted for the big ground, as Barnesy mentioned, at Subiaco.
Good time to drop Shane Harvey. He's the quickest bloke on the list, and they drop him for Subiaco.
Is he an emergency?
He's in. Oh, he's not.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Shoots plays funny buggers, so you never know.
Let's have a look at some of the young kids in defence, Barnesy, who are going really well. Bolton and Jacobs, we know, has been around for a while, and young Welsh, who's very exciting, and they gave him lots of dash again last week.
For Bolton not to have played the games he played through suspension and come back and do what he did on Rocker was absolutely fantastic. And young Andrew Welsh, now this kid's you know, brought up with 1 foot a week and had to fight for the other one, I suppose. He's a very tough kid. He's hard at it. Trains hard. Now, most of the young kids at our club take a leaf out of his book because he dead set as a crack.
You should take him back to your house then.
No,
plenty to eat there.
Plenty to eat there.
Who might end up good footy if he has 3 meals a week?
Well,
who's going to play? Do you think Pavlich will play on Hurd again?
Oh, I'd like to see that if Hurdy plays midfield. It's great when two gun players play on each other.
What about Lloyd? I mean,
Lloyd's just champ.
Yeah, and who's going to play on him?
Who's you got? Pollock or Hadrill?
Parker down there, or Hadrill, or Pollock?
Pollock allegedly said he wanted to play on Wayne Carey early in the season. I'm sure a young kid with that sort of confidence would be pretty pleased with the experience of lining up on Lloydie, wouldn't he?
Great experience for him, Mike.
It would.
Crowden Farmer still...
What are you laughing at?
Still struggling, aren't they, for Freo to make a big impact?
Oh, yeah, but hopefully they're not going to have an impact this week, Hutton, and we can put the handcuffs on them and keep them nice and tight.
So you're tipping Essendon, Russell?
I'm going for Freo.
You're
kidding yourself.
Hello?
You're kidding yourself.
I think I'm going for Essendon.
No, you're going for Essendon, Hutto.
I am going for Essendon.
Good.
Thank you, John. It's always reassuring to know that you can help me with my tips. The Bulldogs meet St Kilda, our last game to look at for the weekend. Well, the Tribunal may have had a huge impact on this outcome of this game, with Milne out for 2 and Nathan Brown cleared, as we talked about at the top. The Saints finally getting on top of Geelong last week. While the Dogs were competitive against Brisbane, they'll welcome Credior back, and they see they've also added Eagleton and Harris to their squad of 25.
Why would they take Brown out of full forward, Mike?
Why would they?
Why would they?
Because they wanted him to get some footy, I think, Barnesy. It wasn't Nathan Brown's best performance up in Brisbane last week.
It was young Corey McGrath's brother that did the job on him.
Yeah, but he just didn't look like he was as tuned in as you'd want a player of his standard to be.
Now, Barnesy, the tall men from the Bulldogs, Darcy in particular, who was brilliant last year, and Bandy, just aren't having the impact they had last year. Darcy was down a bit on stats last week. That was his shot for goal. It was a behind. Bandy's having a bit of a horror year at this stage. Here's the difference between last year and this year. Look particularly with the goals. So in the 4th column across, Darcy kicked 23 for last year. Hasn't kicked a goal so far this year. Bandy kicked 30 last year and he's only kicked 3 so far.
Yeah, it's, well, as we wrapped up I think every show last year, the twin powers of Bandy and Darcy were just kicking butt. And this year it just seems like Daniel Bandy's, you know, I don't know, probably sides have worked him out because he had his second lease of life. And with Darcy, I don't know, boys, I can't put my finger on it, but... geez, he's lacking something, and we hope we can get it back for the Bulldogs' sake.
Do you think that rule change where you grab the ball in the air at a ruck contest and the onus is on you to get rid of it? Do you reckon that's affected Darcy?
I think Collingwood's leading the hard ball gets with 36, and this time last year I reckon Darcy would have had 50, and I think he ended up with 116 or something for the year, or 176 or something for the year, but I reckon it's probably hurting Darcy.
They're still getting a fair amount out of the middle. Their centre clearance rate's pretty good, so he's obviously still rucking okay.
They got more footy than Brisbane last week, though.
Not getting as much.
I think they're ranked first in centre clearance as the Bulldogs. Scotty West, great reader of the ball, Garlic and blokes like this, getting in there, Brad Johnson every now and then.
Scotty West is playing better than he's played for 2 or 3 years.
Best
playing
and first.
well.
4-time best and fairest.
And he's a guest on White Line Fever tomorrow night.
He loves you, Hutto, too, just
Yeah, I know he does. Well, I'll talk to him tomorrow night. But I'll see you've been making up stories for all these years. St Kilda, let's have a look at what they've done at selection. And they've added Ferguson as a possibility, a youngster. Number 22 in the draft. He's 18, 187 centimetres, 81 kilos from Hayfield in Gippsland. And also Peckett, who was great in the VFL last week. Foss and Maguire as possible inclusions.
They're a exciting team.
They are an exciting team, but the big challenge for these boys now, Barnesy, is to put two in a row together.
Well, a lot of young heads there, Russell and...
He's still got some oldish heads there.
Yeah, well, look, I think Burke's been fantastic. He just sets them up, he points and he talks and he does everything that, I suppose, a bloke who's played 300 games does. Harvey got a bit of it again on the weekend. Hamill, you know, he's hitting packs hard. And Garrick, I love Garrick going forward. Just strengthens them up a bit.
The suspension of Milne, it could almost determine the match.
If Stevie was playing, I would say definite 5 or 6 goals. But it's going to be, I think, Brisbane last week against the Doggies were quite good. Quite good, tight. It's going to go right down to the...
Gehrig and Riewoldt will obviously worry them in terms of their lack of tall men in defence, the Western Bulldogs, but if Crediot can stand up, and Milne obviously is normally an avenue to goal, I think it gives the Doggies a huge chance. Now, Grant Thomas, do you notice something in the Age, Mike? I know you're an avid reader of the Age.
I'm supposed to say that, hello. No, in the training notes in the Age today, there was this little gem tucked away there that a lot of people may have missed. I reconsider everything. This is Grant Thomas saying this. If he is saying, that's Hamill, is saying he wants to put his hand up again to be captain, that excites me greatly because it means he's actually going to improve his performance again next year. Now, I thought that was set in cement.
No, it wasn't. They said
it wasn't.
No.
Jeez, we've wasted a lot of
but he said
discussion in the last 3 months.
No, but Tomo said if at the end of the year they reassess things, and if they think that it's worked the way in which they wanted to, they might change their mind rather than rotating.
Is that I didn't read it that way.
No, I thought they were going to rotate no matter what.
They said they were going to reassess.
He told me if Michael Voss was there, he would rotate the captaincy. He told me.
Well, the article I read, I obviously read it incorrectly, that they would reassess the situation at the end of the year.
Are there any St Kilda legends that are in the grave that would be absolutely tossing and turning about not having one captain for the year? Or 5 years?
I haven't been able to ask them, I'm not sure.
Can you have that again?
Oh, is there any living legend that, not a legend that's passed that would be dead set spewing and haunting him now, Grant Thomas, for not picking...
Neil Roberts is down there, and he's a former captain.
He's alive, isn't he?
Yeah, but I didn't know.
What I'm trying to say is...
Some old fella that fell off the perch a long time ago.
Yeah, loved the club, probably old captain that has died. Would he be bleeding that there's not a captain like a Hamill could probably carry it?
He's dead.
I'm giving some good lines here now, Hunter, to come back at you with, so you've got to be happy with that. But, so he couldn't have had a captain for 5 or 6 years, and that's what I'm trying to get at. Is there, would the old bloke
I think most of us would think that's the logical thing to do.
What are you having, a dump or something? You've got your eyes closed. Look like he's going to squeeze one out then.
We're still on the air,
I know that, but he's... Look, he keeps laughing at me every time I try and say something. Yes.
The issue was whether, in fact, Grant Thomas said unconditionally that he was going to rotate the captaincy. That was my understanding of it.
Well, I'd like to have one captain, at least have one for 5 or 6 years. That's all I want to try and get.
Thanks for your support.
Sorry.
Yeah. You can't stop laughing.
I just tuned out, Mike, sorry. We're just looking at the ins and outs of everyone. Who are we going for as St Kilda in the ball? I've tipped the Bulldogs.
I'm on the Saints.
I'm on the Saints.
And I'm on the Saints as well, Hutto.
So how far will they go, do you think?
How many times does Nathan Eagleton go in and out of this Western Bulldogs team?
A lot of the time he gets listed to go in and then he doesn't actually come in, doesn't he? How far will the Saints go? How many games will they win this year?
Well, the next 2 weeks will determine their season. If they beat the Doggies and Carlton, that'll put them at 4-3 and a real platform to...
I've actually picked them for the 8. I reckon they can win somewhere between 12 and 14 games.
12 and 14.
Let's have a look at the tips for the weekend. And 2 and 2 for Adelaide and the Kangaroos. 2 and 2 for Hawthorn and Carlton. Russell going for Carlton, in case you've just joined us. West Coast, Mike, 1 out there. Barnesy 1 out going for the Swans. Everyone going for Port. Barnesy going for Geelong. And those tips were done before the show started and he started drinking the water.
They win, mate.
Essendon he's gone for as well as I have. The Western Bulldogs 1 out there and St Kilda the favourites with the rest of the panel. So, big weekend of footy coming along, boys. Thanks for joining us again. It's been a marvellous show. been, I must say, it's been great to see you tip against your team. Not that there's anything wrong with tipping your team. And great to see Barnesy smiling again on the end.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
Thanks for your contribution, John.
You're
and
welcome.
thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Don't forget White Line Fever tomorrow night. Enjoy the footy. Good night.
Fox League Teams, proudly brought to you by the AFL Record.